Hello, everyone. Good evening from Israel. Today is Monday, October 30th, 2023. Almost happy Halloween to my kids in America and everybody in America. Finally, in today's update, I'm going to announce you that there is a turning point in the fighting. A turning point in the fighting, both operational and psychological. The day started with Hamas, releasing a video of three Israeli hostages, three Israeli women. Only one of them was talking, and you could tell how everything that she was saying was scripted by Hamas, probably at gunpoint before. So she just, I don't want to repeat Hamas's psychological warfare against us because that's what they tried to do. They tried to break us, they try to intimidate us since October 7th. And they did it first. I mean, we got a slap in our face. I mean, a knockdown. You know what? We got knocked out. I come from the world of mixed martial arts and boxing, and sometimes when you get knocked out, you never recover. I mean, fight's over. You lost. You were defeated. And sometimes people seems like they get knocked out, but they keep coming up, they keep getting up, they keep trying to win, they keep trying to take all the bad news and make it good news. So today started really, we are used to Hamas psychological warfare, so a lot of Israelis um, did not want to take part in spreading it too much. I mean, I was just trying to give people information that it happened. It was removed shortly after. The fact that there are three Israeli hostages that were put in front of a camera and they're blaming Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, in everything that happened. And they were demanding them to be freed, and they demanded the Israelis to release all the terrorists in Israeli prisons, and this and that. And it was just like a pure fake, I mean, Nazi like propaganda and a psychological warfare against the families, against Israel as a state, and against the Israeli people. But, but, I'm going to play you first the following video. So, this lady, this young lady in white, is Private Ori Megidish. She was one of the first ones to get taken to Gaza. I mean, she was a soldier, and she was in one of those operational rooms when they had cameras and surveillance and all that stuff. And my third cousin, my mom's cousin, was murdered there in that base. She happened to get kidnapped. I mean, 3 weeks in the heart of Gaza, 3 weeks captive by Hamas terrorists. And she today, what happened last night, but today it was announced that the IDF, the Israeli Security Forces, right now, when I say IDF, I'm talking about all the units of the IDF, and I'm talking about all the units, the special units of the Israeli police, and I'm talking about the Shin Bet, which is the equivalent of our FBI, and the Mossad, which is the equivalent of the CIA. Everybody here is in a joint effort, and I'm telling you, we had an operation where two units of Shin Bet, which is like the FBI, and Yamam, which is the police most uh, one of the best counterterrorism units in the world. I don't know how. We don't know the details. I can only assume and guess that a very, very, very high tech weaponry was involved You know, when you go to Gaza, think about. I mean, it's the lion's den. It's a terror nest. So you go in there to the heart of Gaza, knowing that Hamas terrorists are expecting you, knowing that Hamas terrorists are holding you hostage somewhere in this crowded place, and you are able to get precise intelligence to know where these. I mean, in that case, it was that hostage, Ori. You knew exactly where she's located, what building, what neighborhood, what room, what is the best time to operate. So think about the level of intelligence that the IDF and the Israeli security forces had. And then once you have that intelligence, you have to process it quickly. You know, it only happened 3 weeks ago. You have to process it, and you have to come with an operational plan that has to be successful. If it's not successful, that means that either the hostage dies, or one of the soldier dies, or everybody dies. So it's one of these operations that have to be successful. And note, and you can ask anybody who's ever been in the military, the Gaza Strip, and right now the type of warfare that Israel is dealing with right now is the most complex environment in the world. Everything's booby trapped. They have missiles, rockets, they have weapons that were smuggled from Egypt for years. They have underground tunnels. They are prepared. They are also determined to sacrifice their lives, even though they're cowards most of the times. But to go in there and bring that hostage and rescue, I mean, it's not like, I don't want people, because somebody asked me, Hamas did not rescue. I mean, Hamas did not free that hostage. We rescued. The IDF rescued the hostage from the heart of Gaza. Now, just use your imagination. How do you get that level of intelligence? Even the Mossad was involved, and which is, I mean, they usually they operate overseas, but all of the Israeli intelligence forces were coming up with. I mean, to me, I think that one day people will learn about it, about what happened last night. There was a perfect, well executed operation in the heart of Gaza. Everybody came back safe, and the hostage is safe. And I just played you, and I'm going to play you again. This is the video that was released. That's the girl in white. Blowing the horn, they're blowing the shofar as a sign of, like, we're thanking God. This is a miracle. That grandmother was laying there, couldn't believe 3 weeks to be in captivity of Hamas. Think, only think what this young girl had to go through in that hostile Nazi ISIS like environment. And the IDF and the Israeli police special forces and the Israeli Shin Bet and everybody was involved, 8200 unit, and there's many intelligence unit, but to go locate exactly where that hostage, and you know that Hamas will try to keep these hostages secure and so-called protected by them, because this is all they have. I mean, Gaza has been pounded. I mean, pounded. And again, you don't hear about hundreds of thousands of civilians killed. And no, they still have electricity. They still, now they have internet. The Biden's pressuring us. Give them internet, give them cell phone service, give them water, give them more trucks. We're fighting Hamas. The population of Gaza is the heart, the idea behind Hamas. The fact that they don't hold weapons does not make them innocent. The Taliban had fighters And the Taliban are also spiritual leaders that were so-called civilians. A terrorist is a terrorist. And if you're not a terrorist yourself and you're a terrorist supporter, that also makes you a terrorist. So Hamas earlier today, that's my main update for today. And by the way, thank God, there's a turning point. Rockets are far and few. Today I was able to record, and I'll see if I can try to play it for you. I've actually recorded interception. It was a nearby town very close to us, and I heard the sirens all the way from the out of town. So I went out with my camera, knowing that I'm going to probably be safe. But I was able to get that. I was able to get that interception, and I'm going to try really quick to see if I can get there and play that video really quick. So back to the hostage. So she was freed and she's happy. And just like I talked in the beginning of this video, that Israel was almost knocked out. With that disaster we had, we were almost knocked out. But now we are recovered. There are 350,000 IDF troops who all they see in front of their eyes are the pictures of these babies, are the pictures of these elderly people being shot, are the, again, I go back and forth with social media. I've been kicked in and out social media now. I opened a new YouTube page, which I recommend you to add, and it's on the group, in this group, because if you add me on YouTube or subscribe to this YouTube channel, you'll be able to see these live updates. And soon enough, I'm going to be, when it's escalating, and it's going to escalate with Hezbollah, but I will do a lot more of a live coverage outside and talking to a lot of experts. We just started. I used to do that stuff, and I didn't want to deal with it ever again in my life. But the attack that day on October 7th and what's going on right now in the world with the rise of anti-Semitism, and I'm talking about hundreds of percent rise in anti-Semitism. And no, these are not Christians who go and say we want to kill Jews. These are not Buddhists who go out there and say we want to kill Jews. These are Muslim fanatics in almost every Muslim country in the world. Look what happened in Dagestan, in Russia. It's an autonomy in Russia, a Muslim majority, and these people are fanatics. They were hunting down Jews in the streets. Everywhere they thought Jews were, in Dagestan, in freaking Dagestan in Europe, these Muslim mobs were chasing after them, trying to pull them out of flights, out of the terminal. And what do you think they wanted to do to them? To have a discussion with them? They wanted to slaughter them. So I decided no more. I'm recovering from surgery. I didn't really have time to do that, but I decided that I have to do that, and I have to provide you guys with real updates. I monitor this stuff as I'm healing 24/7, both the enemy media and less the mainstream media, because they have a lot of delay. So I want to go and take you here very shortly to what happened. Let's see here. What happened early in my house. So I'm going to share the screen really quick. And I'm going to play it. This is what happened earlier today, a couple hours ago. Explosions. Like I said, I'm not acting like a hero. There's other people inside. Here you go. It's right there. It's right there. Intersection on this. Intersections right there. And we're expecting loud explosion. That was in the city of Rishon, not here, but nearby. That's why we're not in the shelter right now. And we heard saw interceptors. And you can see the smoke right there. Loud explosion. That's what happened earlier today. Explosions. That was a mess. But I must tell you that the rockets have decreased. Again, all eyes are to the north. Hezbollah has been launching rockets. We attack in Lebanon. We attack in Syria. We didn't get anything from Yemen. Turkey's threatening. This whole area is about to explode. I'm going to be talking to you soon from an active, fully active war zone. Not because this is what I want, not because this is what I predict, simply because these are the conditions and there's no turning back from original war. Israel in the Middle East, just like in 1967, just like in 1948, just like in 1973, but way, way more. I trust the IDF. I trust our allies. I trust the United States of America. And by the way, for those who think that the US brought all its forces here to fight for Israel or to protect Israel, no, you're wrong. It's to protect American bases and American interests in the area, in the region, because once we go full blast with Hezbollah and Iran, then they're not only going to try to punish us, they're going to try to kill Americans. They will see Americans just like Hamas sees Jews. One last thing before I go, I wanted to tell the American people that all they need to do is look what's going on in democratic cities and states and see the type of protest, which is, it's equivalent to somebody going out there and dozens of thousands of people after 9/11 with posters cheering for Osama bin Laden. No America would have ever allowed that. No America would ever allow people, even now, okay, 23 years after, even now, if a bunch of people or students, the people who are supposed to be our future, would go with Osama bin Laden support signs, they would be arrested for a hate crime or for terrorism. I mean, I don't think that this administration, with all due respect to all the help that Israel gets from this administration militarily wise, I think that this administration is allowing America to really go downhill domestically, because no American president should allow such demonstrations, such hate, such terror supporting in the masses, such brainwash in America, because these people, they're not going to turn on America one day. They're already turning on America. And the time is ticking. If Israel falls, the whole Western world will fall with it. That's what you guys have to understand. Israel is like the balance ball that's holding everything above it together balanced. Israel cannot fall. Israel will never fall. I'm very happy on today's operation, last night's operation, but this is just the first step. The goal should be not to fight according to what's going on with the hostages, but the goal is to fight and make Hamas either surrender or die in battle. I don't wish for any innocent people to get hurt. Not that I believe there are innocent people in Gaza. I don't believe in such thing. The vast majority of Gazans are either families of Hamas or Hamas supporters themselves. All you needed to see is the mob, thousands of civilians coming in after Hamas terrorists did their massacre, and they continued the massacre, continued with the rape, continued with the stealing and kidnapping of people. And when they were brought to Gaza, the streets of Gaza were full of joy. People were handing candy, they were chanting, they were happy. So don't give me all that, baloney about innocent people in Gaza and they're poor and they're victims. They're not. They get what they deserve. They get what they deserve for what they did to us. They will never be forgiven. Never. And so that's it for tonight. Uh, Friday, I think that is a very, very dangerous day. The head of Hezbollah, Nasrallah, is going to have a speech Friday. The sources that I talked to from some of their channels are saying that he's going to be very, very militant in his speech, very, very hostile towards Israel. But at the same time, usually when he has speeches, it's after they do something major and not before. So I think that Israel has to be on high alert, which is like we are. We are on high war alert, and anything can happen anytime. You see every day there's news. I mean, nobody's talking about Ukraine and Russia anymore because they're fighting an old school war and these like huge borders, and they're out there and just like it's going on for like over a year. And in Israel, which is it's just a miracle that a country the size of New Jersey is being attacked daily. You know what it's like? That even the Iron Dome. I mean, I watched it. I just played it for you guys to see it, just calculating exactly where that rocket's going to land, and it doesn't even launch an interceptor unless it knows that the rocket is going to land on civilian populated areas. It's amazing. It's a godly miracle and a technological miracle at the same time. It has to be God giving these people the spiritual inspiration to come up with this. And if it wasn't for the Iron Dome, many Israelis would lose their lives to these horrible rockets that when they land, they do a lot of damage, a lot of damage. And here's the thing. So, I read today that more Iron Dome batteries were shipped from the United States to Israel today, and we're expecting to receive them tomorrow. And we are loading up on these batteries because of Hezbollah. When Hezbollah gets into the picture, that means we'll have rockets from and missiles from Hezbollah and drones from Hezbollah, from Syria, from Yemen, from northern Iraq. From western Iraq, because these are their ranges that can hit Israel, and maybe and possibly from Iran itself. And of course, whatever's left from Gaza. I don't think there'll be much left from Gaza by the time we get to Hezbollah, but that's a different story. It's a whole different story. When it starts, I'm probably going to be sitting in front of this computer 24/7 doing these updates. Right now, we're still with all the small little successes and the challenges and what we go through every day. I'm still able to talk to you. I still have power. We still go out. We still shop. But anything here can change instantly. And like I told you before, you read what's going on in the world. You read how, and it's amazing because it goes one to one with biblical prophecies. And I'm not a religious person, but it goes one to one with what's going to happen with the Jews, and they'll come to Israel and be persecuted again, and the world and the nations will fight over Jerusalem. All these prophecies, and Gaza is mentioned, and wow, and it's unfolding. It's unfolding. And why am I saying this to you? Is because I want people to side with good and not with evil. You know in your heart, inside your heart, who's right in this conflict. You know who was attacked unprovoked. And it doesn't matter if they think that we took their land. It doesn't matter if they think that we killed their terrorists, and sometimes civilians die because they use them as human shields. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. We're still Jews, and all they want to do is kill us. What they did in that massacre was not over land or over disputes or over politics. It was for the joy and the religious duty. No matter how you flip it, it's a religious war. Therefore, we have to treat it with religious terminology as well. This is a religious war. The people who wanted to kill Jews in Dagestan, they wanted to kill Jews because they're Jews. They're not Israelis. They live over there. What do they have to do with what's going on in Gaza? But they targeted them because it's a religious war. Back then, when you used to say that, people would call you racist, tell you, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's Palestine, it's territories, it's Jerusalem." It's not about that. You know, there are stories that I try not to share with some people because, as much as I want people to have sympathy, to understand what happened, at the same time, I don't want to depress people with stories because most of the people that listen to me have children themselves. And the last thing we want to do is to go to details with the horrors that happened that day, because no horror movie director in the world can even come up with the most sickening script as of what happened on October 7th. And we're not avenging. The IDF does not revenge. The IDF stands for its name, the Israeli Defense Force. We're going to defend our civilians. We're going to try and rescue our hostages. We're going to do anything we can do so these things will never, ever happen again. Now, it started with Hamas in Gaza. It's not going to be over when Hezbollah is still on our borders. The regional war is not an if. I interviewed in a South African radio this morning, and I said it's a part of the regional war. It's a stage. We're in a stage, and we're just like in the wild, wild west. Like people are, their hand is in the holster, and whoever's going to draw their weapon and shoot first, that's going to be the player that's going to start that regional war. If I was Israel, I would do something very creative, and I would attack Hezbollah first, which means the destruction of Lebanon. And I believe that in Lebanon there are innocent people. Unlike in Hamas, Hezbollah is a minority, a Shia minority in Lebanon. And in Lebanon, you have many, many, many Christian people who want nothing to do with Hezbollah, who are not fanatic religious, but they live in Lebanon. Hezbollah is part of Lebanon. We can no longer just pinpoint this organization that is way stronger than Hamas, and it's going to be nasty. It's going to be nasty. So this was today's update, just a little under 30 minutes. Like I said, there was a little back and forth with rockets today, not too much. The IDF is continue to pound Gaza. Hamas released a video of 3 Israeli females hostages in Gaza, and the way they were talking against Netanyahu, against Israel, and saying that we deserved what happened. All you needed as an Israeli is 3 seconds to see that these were things that were scripted. It's a pure, evil, cynical, psychological warfare by Hamas, and we shouldn't promote that or pay attention to that. I made a mistake by uploading it, but I did it so people can see how evil these people are, but at the same time, it's helping promoting their cause. But then I heard the amazing news that the Israeli soldier Ori Gordish was released in a heroic operation that I'm sure after the war will be revealed to the world with some very, very high-tech stuff, a lot of courage, a lot of intelligence, and a lot of creativity. Thank you guys so much. And like I said, I invite you to join my YouTube channel. We just started it today. So it's got all the videos so far because Facebook and I are not getting along. Unfortunately, no matter what I do, and I just keep it informative. I don't incite, I don't cuss, I don't upload anything graphic, but I still don't want people to kind of take news upon themselves and be independent when it comes to this conflict. But I'm an Israeli and I'm an American, and I served in both countries as far as public safety, and I know a lot about that stuff. That's my specialty, and I want to share it. So you can join the YouTube link that's on this group, and of course, if something dramatic happens, I'll give you an update right away when it happens. And I'm going to invite many more guests to this podcast so we can give you a non-biased angle on what's going on here. I mean, this is what this group is all about: is to be pro-American, pro-Israel, pro-freedom, pro-justice, against terrorism, and tell people the truth, because the media, on behalf of political correctness over the past few decades, were going hand to hand with terrorism, preventing us from knowing the enemy and what the enemy wants and what they're capable of doing until October 7th, and we all got a rude awakening. So thank you so much for watching and listening. May God bless the United States of America, and of course, may God bless Israel and its soldiers, and may they return to their home safely. Thank you.